What's up, Titan fans? How we doing? Welcome back to another episode from the What's Nation, also known as the What's Up Tennessee Sports Nation. Now, we have a lot to talk about. It's been a minute since I made a video. Last video I made was about the Titans logo being revealed on that little plush thing by Fanatics. I've been offline for almost like a month. I've been busy with work and all this other stuff and just kind of burnt out with making videos. But we have a lot to talk about because a lot has happened as we're leading up to this NFL draft that'll be happening in April. So let's go ahead and hop into things. First and foremost, we got to talk about these uniforms. We had the uniform reveal. We saw the logo previously. The uniforms came out. I know they've been out a hot minute, but this is what we have right here. We got the light blue with Cam Ward in it. We have Chimere DK with the all whites for the away. And then, of course, Big Jeff Simmons over here sporting the home jerseys with the red accents for his gloves and also for his arm sleeve. I love the color scheme. I love everything about it. The only thing I and they could have went a little better with. I do agree with a lot of fans, like with with the helmet, if they would have did the red face mask, that would have been so fire. But I do like the uniforms. I like the logos. I know everyone misses the flaming thumbtack. Even my children, they were like, "Oh my gosh, this new logo, it looks like a Tesla logo." They like the old logo as well. But the baby blue, I do like it a lot, the powder blues. And I mean, it's just something that we gotta get used to it. It's the new logo moving forward, so there's nothing we can really do about it anyway. And I got some gear coming in. Like I'm still repping the old stuff right now. I ordered some new gear. It's taken forever to get here. I think it's finally gonna be here on Monday, and I'll finally be able to represent that new Titans logo. We now also have to talk about all the transactions that has taken place within the past months. I've missed so much, you know, talking about it on here. This is going to be a bit of a longer episode. I haven't done a long video in a while either, right? We always do shorts on here. The shorts normally kick off with everything. But going all the way back to the beginning of March, or even in a little bit of February, right? When we terminated Xavier Woods and Lloyd Cushenberry. So Lloyd Cushenberry, he was the big guy up in the center, our veteran center. We got a big hole to fill right there, right in the middle of the line. Xavier Woods, we ended up, playing him every now and then, but he's an older guy. We do have Hooker back there. We have the upcoming Winston, up and coming Winston that we expect to get lots of play time. So I'm not too concerned with the safety position. And we do have other guys to fill in these roles. But center, we are going to be struggling there. We did sign Dillinger and Ravenel on the 5th to help up with the offensive line for the guard and the defensive line. Then we also ended up bringing back Bryce Oliver, who's kind of like, a practice squad guy that gets called up every now and then when injuries occur. But there was lots of signings that happened at the beginning of free agency on the 12th. We're talking Bellinger, a tight end. Remember, we got rid of Chig, then Elliott. We ended up getting Flott, which we need for defensive backs because, man, our secondary was atrocious last year. We ended up getting Franklin Myers, but you'll see it's because we ended up getting rid of T Sweat, which is quite unfortunate. Wandell Robinson, big offseason acquisition. Huge guy to have in the slot. I mean, huge, not physically, but huge position wise. Like that is huge for Cam Ward. We ended up getting another center. We got Alante Taylor. I love the signing. Huge Vols fan. Glad we got him. He was a stud for New Orleans. He did great against us when he played against us. We ended up getting Townsend, the punter, good punter. We got Trubisky, which means Levis is basically out of here. But Trubisky's a good backup in case something does happen to Cam Ward. We actually have someone out there because last season, oh my gosh, with what's his name? Brandon Allen at the helm when Cam Ward went out was just atrocious. You can't have a guy like that as backup. At least we have Mitchell Trubisky back there to have a little bit of solidarity at quarterback in case something happens to Cam Ward. Then we ended up getting another guard Volson. We're trying to strengthen up that O line, but no huge signings on the O line though. We got Joshua Williams, add a little bit more depth at cornerback. But that's the big thing right here. We traded away Big T Sweat. I loved T Sweat. I thought he was going to be huge in this league. I mean, he's a big guy, big run stuffer. I think he's going to do well for the New York Jets or wherever he ends up going within the league, throughout his career. I think he's going to be an outstanding player. Ended up getting Johnson to help with this D line, and we ended up getting Solomon Thomas as well to help in the middle of the D line. So lots of moves taking place. Then the next day, we finally got rid of L'Jarius Sneed. Huge bust for us in the signings from a couple years ago. He was just injured the whole time, and then when he did come in, he got burned. So it was tough having L'Jarius Sneed on this roster, just eating up cap. We paid him big time money to make big time plays, and all he did was just get injured and made no plays. The whole time for us, I don't think even think he recorded an interception for his time in Tennessee. It's bad. But we ended up also signing some free agents: Herring, Martin, Jacob Reed, a little bit more depth at the safety, and then Joey Sly. Of course, he's coming back. Joey Sly is our guy, baby. So love to see him back. That dude was great for us. Then we ended up signing another free agent, tight end Granson Adams at safety. A tackle, and then Diabate from the Browns, who was a pretty good depth piece for Cleveland. So hopefully he can come in here. And remember, we were atrocious at linebacker, so a depth piece for Cleveland might be a starter for the Tennessee Titans. I know we got Cedric Gray and Cody Barton, but Cody Barton was a little inconsistent at certain points. Same thing with Cedric Gray every now and then. Even though Cedric Gray, he was more solid. He had a lot of tackles for us, but Cody Barton did have a little bit of issues. But now we're going to have Diabet back there to at least help them out. In case if they're struggling, he can come in, be a weapon for us, or even come in if one of them happens to get injured. So now let's go ahead and look at the roster as a whole to see where we fill out with our roster currently. So for wide receivers, we are currently, I think we look pretty decent. Yeah, we don't have like a super solid number one. We don't have a Mike Evans or anything like that. But we got Wan'Dale Robinson, really good in the slot. He can be great weapon for Cam Ward, and I'm happy we brought back Calvin Ridley. I really am. I mean, he's not. I know he's not like a super high number one. He's more like a number two receiver. But if we didn't bring him back, we would have nothing. So I'm glad we have Calvin Ridley coming back for us. It really will help solidify this wide receiver room. Xavier Restrepo, I'm hoping they give him more opportunities this season. This man has to be on the field. Had such chemistry with Cam Ward in college. Why not give this man more opportunity? Crochet, practice squad guy. Same thing with Presley and Oliver. Oliver comes in every now and then. We call him up, but he's really not much for us. Same thing with Mason Kinsey. He'll come in every now and then, make a pretty good play for us, but practice squad guy. Chimere DK, he is the rising star for these Tennessee Titans on offense. Punt returner, kick returner, wide receiver. This man is solid. I hope to see big things from him this upcoming season. Then we got Eric Ayomanor, who seemed to be decent at one point for the wideout, right? He looked like he was going to be making plays. Then he started suffering with some drops and just not getting open. Hopefully this season, one season under his belt, hopefully it makes him get better. We need him to excel at wide receiver. We need him to go out there and make some plays for these Tennessee Titans. Tight end, we're going to be struggling a little bit this year. I think we got rid of Chig. He was our big play tight end. He could turn a little screen. They like to do these tight end screens to Chig, and he could always bust big yardage, right? But for some reason, we just didn't give him the ball a ton. But he was a big play guy for us, Chig Okonkwo, but we don't have him no more. Now at tight end, Joel Wilson, don't even know who this guy is. DMR, he's a practice squad player. He comes in every now and then. Maybe we can get him some catches. Gunnar Helm, though, he's the guy that should be leading the way for these Tennessee Titans. He's the big catch receiver guy. He's like a possession receiver, but he always catches the ball. He went so, like in college, he had some crazy amount of catches with no drops. That's what we need, a solid receiving tight end for Cam Ward. Then we got Granson and Bellinger we ended up picking up, which, they'll come in. They might even start over Gunnar Helm for a little bit because Gunnar Helm is so young in the NFL. Then our tackles, Dan Moore, J.C. Latham. Obviously, we love J.C. Latham. First round draft pick. He's been okay-ish for us. He's been getting better as he's learning the game. Dan Moore, he didn't really give us many issues last year. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great either, right? He was just okay. Didn't really hear his name called too much. So we might be okay at tackle, but we did take a shot on him. We ended up signing this guy and then Crenshaw Addiction, who's like a backup type guy as well. Safety, I think we're doing pretty good at, right? Winston, he's up and coming. Love what he's doing. Reed, we ended up signing him and Kane. Hooker, obviously he's great. I think he's like probably our best defensive back on the field. He's just a little injury prone. He always seems to get injured, but I love what he has. And then Hallett and Adams. We ended up signing Adams during the offseason. Running back, I know the draft's coming. Everyone wants love. Everybody wants love. But if we end up keeping Pollard, I mean, I'm okay with Pollard. I mean, like I know everybody wants love, and then there's some people that say a runner back is a dime a dozen. You can get them from anywhere. Obviously, not true in all cases. I mean, obviously, when you have Derrick Henry, you just can't get him from anywhere. But Tony Pollard, he was solid for us. He got his 1,000 yards, I believe. Tajay Spears, he's always electric. He always makes a ton of plays. He's just always injured. That dude's injury prone. I mean, I know he wore the Guardian cap for a bit, but he's still injury prone. I don't even know who Blake Watson is. This guy just, I don't know. He came up off the streets. Mullins, he's basically like a big power back there, trying to come in every now and then. The same with Chestnut. He's been on this roster his entire career, 5 years, and he always makes the team, but you don't ever see much from him. Quarterbacks, I think we're doing well, obviously. I mean, Cam Ward, #1 overall draft pick. Mitch Trubisky, he's another, what, I think he was #1 overall draft pick as well, right? For the Bears. And then we got Will Levis, who may or may not be on this team, but we could trade him away. We could keep him. I mean, if we have room for him, might as well keep him. Brandon Allen, that man just needs to get out of here. Get him off this roster. Hunter Townsend, he's good. Hey, our linebacker core right here, we got lots of linebackers. Okay. Ward, I mean, he's decent. Femi, I definitely want to see more from him this year. He has to have a breakout season. We drafted him kind of early. He needs to go out there and make some plays. Glenn, don't know who he is. Jones and Harold, he's one of these guys who's always like a preseason hero, goes out there, makes a ton of plays in the preseason. Regular season starts, where is he? Don't know. He needs to go out there and make some plays. And then Ali Gay, he's okay for us. So offensive line, the rest of the offensive line, Udo, hey, he's fine. Peter Skoronski, I think he does really good for us. Great draft pick. I know we drafted him kind of high for a guard, but he's really good for us. Hands down, he's practice squad guy. Breaks. Morgan Cox, been on this team forever, 17 years in the league. He's our long snapper. Been in. Hey, might as well keep him around. The rest of the linebackers, Williams, he's okay. Riley, eh. Orgy, same thing. I mean, we really have no good guys right here besides Cedric Gray. And then we got to see how Diabate is for us. And then Cody Barton. Batchy, don't even know who this guy is. So, we got three okay linebackers right here. Kicker, Joey Sly. Love the kicker. Guards, I mean, like, who's Webb, Volson, Jackson Slater. He's one of our big young guys we drafted last year. Hopefully he can come in. He might have to move to center every now and then. Moss, oh no. Dillinger's a guy we signed. Then for our defensive line, Solomon Thomas. Hopefully he can come in and step up. Remember, we got that big hole to fill up in the middle with T Sweat being gone. Jeffrey Simmons, obviously he's one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Then Horsey, like who's that? Horn, Ravenel. Then John Franklin Myers, big offseason signing for us. Hopefully he can help fill that role in the middle with that big loss we got. And then Elliott. Uh, for our edge rushers, Martin, Jermaine Johnson, that's a big one right there, right? That's who we ended up getting from the Jets. And hopefully he can come in there and make some big plays for us. Then we got Herring, Brown, whoever this guy is. And then we get to our defensive backs, right? We did improve our defensive backs quite a bit over the offseason. I know Kendall Brooks, he's a safety we drafted some years ago, a couple years ago. He never comes in and plays. I mean, I think I saw him come in once last year and he ended up getting burned. But Joshua Williams, Alante Taylor's the big signing for us. He's going to be a starter for us on the outside. We got Robinson, Harris, Hall, and then Flott right here is going to be a starter on the other side. You best believe it. And then Elam, Callaghan, and then Amor Davis. He's okay for us, you know. He comes in every now and then. Then we got our two centers, which we are going to be struggling at center. So that does it for this roster. But if we look, I'm telling you, this is a long episode. We have a lot to cover. Just stay with me, folks. Now we get to the mock drafts to see who they think the Tennessee Titans are gonna draft. And with all these moves, this thing is from when this article came out, March 23rd, came out like 5 days ago. So it was after all these transactions took place, right? Because these transactions took place all the 12th and the 13th. The only thing that happened since the 23rd was that we ended up, or on the 23rd, we got Diabat from the Browns. So if we look back at the mock draft of what they have, of who we think we're going to get. Remember, Mel Kiper, he's the big draft analyst. I know he's wrong a lot of times, but he's typically good within like the first 5 picks, right? Mel Kiper, he's thinking Jeremiah Love. Everybody wants Jeremiah Love. Daniel Germain, he wants Jeremiah Love. McShay, he switched it up. Ruben Bain. Now, I don't mind getting an edge rusher. We need an edge rusher. I really don't mind getting an offensive weapon for Cam Ward, like a Love. Or as you'll see, some people ended up saying Carnell Tate. Wouldn't mind that either. He needs weapons. The only thing with Carnell Tate, he was a little slow at the combine. I know combine doesn't fully correlate to field speed because the 40-yard dash does take a lot of skill and technique where, you know, you have to get down in the right stance. You got to, you know, shoot forward, you know, because normally you're not sitting, you know, normally you're not in that position when you're out wide at wide receiver. You're not down in like a little stance with your arm behind you, getting ready to just sprint. No, normally you're standing up. So it's kind of weird they make them different than what they would be on the field. And they're in full pads and they're, you know, running away from somebody. But he was a little slow at the combine. So mainly when you look at this, it's going to be Love, Bain, Tate, Bailey, and some other linebackers, Styles, uh, Reese. I mean, a lot of these names, but most of them, the only offensive guys is Love and Tate. And obviously, I always want us to draft offensive guys. I mean, the offense needs to be electric on the field. It's what sells tickets. We got a new stadium coming next year in 2027. We got brand new uniforms, brand new logos. We need some electricity on this field. I know we end up getting a defensive minded head coach, but wait, with Dayball as the offensive coordinator, we got to give him some weapons that he can utilize with Cam Ward. So I would never be opposed to taking an offensive guy, even if it's a running back kind of high at number 4. I mean, he was just electric in college. So how can you say no to Jeremiah Love? Not all running backs are created equal. I know they like to say they're a dime a dozen. If they're a dime a dozen, if you want an average running back, but the great running backs, they're not equal. Edge rusher is something we definitely need, so I wouldn't be opposed to that either. I mean, all of these I would be okay with us getting, just as long as it's not an offensive lineman. I am so tired of the Tennessee Titans drafting offensive linemen all the time. It seems like for like a decade, it's like our first or second pick of the draft, we were always getting an offensive lineman. So I just want to go away from that. You know, obviously it wasn't working. They failed. I mean, Isaiah Wilson and everyone, they just fail. So you might as well just stop doing it. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again without getting any different results. So let's just go away from it and actually get some weapons on the field like other teams do. And we'll get offensive linemen eventually, or through free agency, pay them through free agency or something like that. Let's not waste draft picks on an offensive lineman. But that will do it for today's episode. Let me know your comments on all this down in the comments below. We're talking uniform stuff, transactions, and the draft of who you want to see. Just make sure you let me know. And as always, tighten up, baby.